Well, hello, my name's Tom Barry. I am the instructor for SOC 201, Introduction to Sociology. Welcome to the class. Looking forward to working with you throughout the course of the term. So let me just give you a little bit of background. The goal of this video, and I'll do one every week is my goal. And my goal is just kind of give you the layout for the week, kind of things that are going on, provide a little feedback over the previous week. My goal is to make sure that you know what's going on, you got clear expectations, you know the assignments, that you feel comfortable navigating the class, and that you know that you can contact me if you have questions as well. So the goal of these short videos is just to kind of orient you, provide some information that'll be valuable, and a good way for me to communicate to the entire class observations that I'm making about assignments and things like that. So I'm going to give you a little bit of background of who I am. Just I think that's an important part, what I do in a face-to-face class. My name's Tom Barry. Let's see, maybe it was 14 years ago, I earned my PhD in sociology. I entered sociology in a kind of a strange fashion. If you ever want to know what that is, just let me know. I'll give you sort of my background, sort of how I got there. Before I landed in sociology, I was working as a social worker at a community mental health center. I was working as a mental health therapist. I have a master's in social work. Been teaching part-time or full-time for a long time, and had an opportunity to teach full-time at a community college in South Central Kansas. And part of the job was teaching half speech and speech communication, because I have a master's in speech as well, half speech communication and half social work. And then I had an opportunity to teach at some point during that time period while I was there for 7 years, had an opportunity to teach a sociology class. And man, I just fell in love. But that was the class. You know, I started teaching that class, and I said, you know what, that's what I want to teach from now on. And it's been that's sort of set me on a trajectory. I think sociology has a lot to offer individuals, just as far as self-reflection, self-understanding. I think that's an important part of being human. It's an important part of sort of a meaningful life, a purposeful life, is the sense of self-analysis, self-reflection. Sociology provides that. Sociology also links the individual to the environment that we're in. So it's not only, it's like understanding ourselves, but also understanding the time period that we live in, the culture that we live in, the social context that we live in, and how those things shape us and how we potentially shape that environment as well. So it's sort of this interactive approach between individuals, groups, and society itself. Sociology for me also is a discipline that is not afraid to critique things that are going on in society. In fact, that's part of its mission. Its mission is to, if you look back historically over the focus of sociology, conflict theory as well as functionalism, you'll see in both of those branches of sociology, the goal was to make society function better, or to make it more equitable, or to make society, to help encourage society to do a better job of kind of being organized in a way that's meaningful and purposeful for people. To do that requires critically evaluating things that are going on in the environment that we live in. So this class, sometimes, I tell my students this in my face-to-face classes, that, you know, that sometimes you're going to be exposed to information in this class, or that I'm going to be communicating information in this class that's going to make you uncomfortable. It's going to challenge beliefs and values that you took for granted, that you assumed that either everyone had, or it was the, I don't know, maybe not the only way, but it was the best way, or is a way that made the most sense to you as far as a way of thinking about the world. And this class may challenge a lot of that stuff. And that, I think, is useful, beneficial. I appreciate that when someone challenges me, or a book, or a movie, or whatever it may be, something, somebody comes at it from a different perspective that causes me to be more aware of my own assumptions that I have about things, and to become more informed so I can make a better decision about things. And I'll just give you a quick example. And we'll probably, you'll read a lot about these kind of things throughout the course of the term. There's a lot of reasons as a culture in the United States that we have a hard time with poverty programs, social programs that address poverty. A lot of that has to do with core values that go back early in American history as far as the foundation of America. Oftentimes, there can be politicians as well as the general public have very strong beliefs about people who are welfare recipients, but really have no education as far as reading information about welfare programs, what they are, how they work, the context around them, when they developed, why they developed, the degree to which they're successful, as well as some of the challenges. I mean, any program has its challenges as well, so it's not like it always works out as intended. But oftentimes people can develop very strong beliefs and ideas that are opposed to people who are welfare recipients, and they're very emotional. And I would argue that if somebody's coming at it and they're very emotionally invested in that area and that topic, that they believe that people who are receiving welfare benefits are taking advantage of the system and they should do more to help themselves. My first question is, I want to know is, how did they arrive at that decision? Did they spend the time to understand, sort of like I said, the history of those programs, how much money goes to those programs, its impact? Do they, have somebody taken the steps to investigate and then reach that decision, or have they assimilated a dominant view that's in culture itself that they just, the person is assimilated to who they are without ever checking it, without ever questioning it, without ever thinking more thoroughly through it? And I think it does harm. I think when we do that, when we assimilate things into our own ways of thinking without being more directly involved in trying to, separate out fact and fiction and sort of what's right and what's wrong, I think we do a disservice to ourselves, because then we become more alienated from others as well as ourselves. And I think we do a disservice to the communities that we live in. I think all of us, part of human nature, the idea that we are cooperative. Humans are cooperative. We can be very competitive as well. But humans desire a sense of community. A formation of community. We seek group membership to find that community. And my goal, my hope would be that this class actually helps us to stop and pause and think about ways that maybe we've created distance between ourselves and others. We've created barriers, whether those are structural barriers or ideological barriers, ways that we think between ourselves and other groups in society. And part of the goal of the class, I think, is to help bridge that gap. And the goal of bridging that gap, I think, is to make us more well-informed, as well as to make our communities function better and do a better job of that. Excuse me. That's a little bit about me. It's a little bit about sort of what sociology is. You're going to read a lot about sociology throughout this course this term. I'm excited for you. If you've never taken a sociology class, I think you're in for a treat. I think it's a valuable discipline for a lot of reasons. Let me just kind of talk about the layout of the class, and then try to wrap things up and try to keep these videos between 10 and 15 minutes. So I put an announcement out on Blackboard that basically identifies, okay, here's the things to do. Take all these steps. Go review this, review the syllabus, review this document, open up this page. I think go through all those steps, and I think after doing that, you'll feel pretty comfortable as far as what's required for the class. As with anything, in the first week or two, it's going to be a little bit of confusion. The first week or two, you're going to be wondering, man, am I doing what I need to do? Am I on the right track? Especially the first week, I think you're probably really trying to figure out whether or not you're doing what's required. My intent, and I spent a lot of time designing the class, was to make sure that I've communicated things as directly as I can and it's as clear as possible, and to keep things simple. So I try to keep the same schedule every week. It's like, boom, we're doing the same thing every week. The different material, of course, but the same format of assignments for the most part every week, just so you don't have that to worry about and thinking about something new. I do want to let you know that there's the attendance requirement that you need to complete. It's a discussion board, just providing your own, I put a couple questions there, just like who you are, kind of why you're taking the class, those kind of things. You need to complete that attendance requirement by Tuesday at noon. If you don't do that, you'll be withdrawn from the class, and then you won't be able to enter back into the class. See what else. So there's that. Yeah, if you look